Hello, everyone. Welcome back to After the Island. We have our first guest of season 4, Valerie. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good actually. It feels good to be back. It's like mixed feelings, I would say. I'm sad, but I'm happy at the same time.
Where are you located right now?
I'm in Orlando. Well, it's Maitland, but it's like a small like city, but mainly Orlando. Like that's like the major city next to it. So
Oh my gosh, fun. So you probably have beautiful weather today.
yes, it's very much it's sunny. Yesterday was kind of rainy, but today's sunny. Florida, it's kind of like you never know what you're gonna get. Honestly, you just kind of have to go every hour. It kind of changes. So
Yeah.
far it's a good day, but it might rain. You never know.
Jumping right into it, the first question I wanted to ask you is how are you contacted for the show? How did they find you? Or did you apply?
It was actually I applied. I saw an ad on Instagram, and I knew one of the Islanders from season 3,
Wow,
Giovanni.
who?
Giovanni, yeah, we have like mutual friends, so like we've hung out a couple times, and I heard about the show through him. Like I saw that he was on it, so like that's how I knew about the show. And then I came across an ad. They were looking for like new people for like the new season, and I was like, oh shit! I was like, you know what? Like, why not? Let me try it. And honestly, everything happened like super fast because when I applied, it was like kind of like towards closer to the filming dates, and I think the process took like 3 weeks, and that
Oh,
was it.
wow.
Yeah, it
Oh
was
my gosh,
super
that's
quick.
so quick.
Yeah.
That is so quick. All right, so we have to get into your journey on Love Island. I hate that word, but it really is what it is.
I
And
know.
you came in as a bombshell and you shook up the villa like when you walked in with Maddie. How did both you and Maddie feel walking in as bombshells? Were you nervous? Did you feel like super confident?
Honestly, like I feel like I didn't. It was more like excitement rather than like being nervous. I would say. Um, I feel like I was like just like very confident coming in. I didn't feel like, oh my God, like what's gonna happen? Like I didn't have like bad thoughts. You know what? It was more of like I'm excited to like see what's in here. But I would say if I had some like nervousness, it would have been more towards the girls rather than the guys. Like with the guys, I've never really had an issue. Like it's really easy for me to talk to them. But with girls, it's just like it's another story. Like I don't know why it's always been so hard for me to like make like girlfriends. Like I always find
Girlfriends
myself
is nerve wracking.
in a situation, yeah. Girls can be very scary.
Well, especially when you're coming in to steal one of their men. Like
Exactly. I think it was more of like that situation too. Just like knowing that I was coming in as a bombshell, I already knew that like I was gonna be seen as a threat. And I didn't want to be in that position, if I'm being honest, because like I feel like in my daily life that already like happens often. And I find myself in situations that like I don't want to be in. And I'm like trying to like show girls like, listen, like there's no competition here. Like that's not what I'm about. But people are gonna take it how they want to take it. So I knew definitely like that some girls were gonna feel some type of way. But I was hoping just like, by being nice, it's kind of like showing them like, no, like I'm not trying to be mean. It's a competition, but like I was just trying to be nice, but it's still, things still happen. So
I mean, you're all there for the same reason to meet people. So when you were walking in, did you know who all the like guys and girls were before walking in, or did you know some of them, or so you didn't know anyone that was in the villa
I had
when
no
you
clue. Yeah, I had no clue who it was. Actually, didn't even know I was coming in with Maddie. I mean, I was told that I was going to go in on like day one. So I knew that, but everything kind of just like, it's like super last minute. Like they just kind of tell you like, hey, you're going in like like in a couple hours. And you're like, oh
yeah,
shit.
because
Okay.
I was wondering, if you knew prior going in if you had your eyes set on anyone, but if you didn't know anyone, then it was
I think
all
yeah, I think since it was day one, I had like I had no clue who the cast was or anything. So I was just going in just like not knowing. I didn't even know who I was gonna be on a date with.
oh, right, right. So let's talk about that. The date. You went on the date with Jesse and Felipe.
Mm.
And I really, at first, I didn't think that you were gonna go for Jesse. I thought you and Felipe were gonna
Mhm.
get together. What what was your thought behind, or I guess how was the date? Can you tell us more? Because we only saw little clips of it. We didn't really get to see who was really, really into each other.
The date was, I mean, I feel like it went well, but we were all kind of like talking with each other. You know what I mean? I feel like I didn't feel any like connection with like Felipe in that sense. Like when we were having the conversation, I feel like I definitely felt more of a connection with Jesse, which is what led me to like my attraction to him. But like the date itself, it was just kind of like we were all like kind of like showing interest in like everybody. Like even like I was getting to know Maddie too, you know? So it was kind of like it was like a group conversation, I would say. But it was good. It felt really natural. Like it was like not awkward at all.
When we skip to the recoupling, I think everyone wants to know, how awkward was it when you chose Jesse? Or was it kind of in the air that everyone knew in the
You
villa?
know, it's funny because like nobody was expecting that. Because like going into the recoupling, I really didn't like. I didn't know what I was gonna do. Like I was really hoping that like one of the guys was gonna be like, oh, like I'm interested in getting to know you. But they all seemed so shy. I was like the one that was like having to go and like talk to them, and I'm like, man, like I never do this in the outside world. Like, so it was definitely like outside of my comfort zone, I would say. It kind of felt weird because I felt like I was reaching and I don't know. I don't like doing that. You know what I mean? I'm like, I was hoping that one of them was gonna show that interest of like wanting me. And then that will give me like an idea. I'm like, oh my God, okay, like I know this one, I know that one. But it was like all kind of like so soon too that it's kind of hard to tell. And the only one that I had like a conversation like that with was Jesse. Like he was like the only one that was very much open about how he felt. So I like that. I mean, well, it ended up being a whole different situation, but but he was definitely the only one that kind of like told me like from the jump, like you're very attractive. I like I like the way we talk. Like you seem very much like you're smart. Like I can learn from you. And I kind of like that. So I was like, oh my God, like like I was like attracted to him at first when he first came in, but he said I like blondes. So I was like, fuck. There it goes. Like at first, I was like really like I didn't think like anything was gonna happen. I didn't even like really try with him because he made that comment. And then like out of the blue, it was like we were in the bathroom, and I actually made a comment. It was like right before the recoupling, we were like getting ready, and I made a comment, and I was like, "Well, I would have picked you, but you like blondes." And then he was like, "No, no, no, don't get it wrong. Like I actually want to get to know you." And I'm like, why the fuck did you not say this from the beginning? So our conversation was really like, it was like right before the recoupling. It was,
Bathroom conversation was the solidifier of who
yeah,
you were gonna pick.
exactly. Exactly. Cause I was like, damn, I was like, okay, now I gotta talk to him. So it was like right before the recoupling, like I spoke to him and like it was like the conversation that I needed. And I was like, okay, like I already know, like I want this. And he was also telling me, like, just trust your gut, just do what feels right. And I'm like, you're so right. I'm gonna do that. And now look at me back home. I'm never trusting my gut again.
If you hadn't picked him, who would you have chosen?
Honestly, at first I was actually gonna go for Isaiah. And I feel like that's what people were sensing too. Like he's definitely like in the outside world, I would say kind of like physically what I would go for. But just like on like a mental, like emotional level, I feel like we didn't really connect. I feel like I tend to go for like older guys because I do like, like that maturity. And I feel like he was lacking that a little bit. I mean, nothing against him, I mean, he is 21 at the end of the day. So it's kind of like what can you expect? But I feel like that's the only reason why I really couldn't like connect with him on that level. Like definitely the physical attraction was there, but I feel like I needed something more of like a man. You know what I mean? And he's still kind of
Yeah.
like developing into that. But like I say, just call me when you're like 27 or something.
My question was gonna be what you think would have happened if you chose him instead of Jesse.
I honestly don't know because right before the recoupling, he actually made Sydney cry because he was kind of like telling her like, "Oh, I just don't know if we're like a good match or like if we're compatible." And I don't know if he was telling her that because he thought I was going to pick him and he was trying to like be in like good terms with her in that aspect. But I also heard that Felipe was having a conversation with Serenity too, like telling her like his goodbyes because he thought I was gonna pick him too. I'm like, I don't know why these guys thought I was gonna pick them. I literally had no clue what I was doing, like right until like right before the recoupling.
They were
But
very confident.
I love
yeah,
that.
exactly. I'm like, Felipe thought I was gonna pick him. I'm like, interesting. I mean, the
You're
kiss
like,
was
what did I
good.
do?
The
What
kiss
did
was
I
good,
do
so I don't
here?
blame. But I honestly don't know what would have happened with Isaiah. Like, one part of me does think about that. I'm like, damn, if I would have picked him, like, what would have happened? But I honestly don't know. Like, I don't know if he like showed all that interest in Sydney after kind of like I cut ties with him, or if like he was like there from the jump. Because at first he kind of seemed very indecisive, and I'm not into that. You know what I mean? I feel like
Mhm.
I very much like know what I want. So I feel like I go for people that know what they want as well. So I feel like with him, honestly, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know what would have happened.
Well, let's jump into talking about you and Jesse. Obviously, you guys had a great connection. We saw it on TV. And he ended up choosing Deb. Were you shocked when he chose her, or did you kind of see it coming?
I definitely saw it coming. I mean, it was more like towards uh the recoupling that I realized what was going on, because at first I feel like I was very blinded. Um, going in there, I knew I wanted to make a connection, and I told myself the moment I feel that, like I just want to focus on that. And like I feel like I didn't really try to talk to the guys that much because like I feel like I had established something with Jesse. um, but he was telling me that he was very much interested in me, and like he was gonna pick me, and then he's telling like all everybody else something different. So it was definitely like kind of like I was like I feel like I just felt disrespected, and then the moment that I confronted him about it, I kind of like already knew like that was gonna leave me vulnerable, but I was okay with that because I don't do disrespect, and I was like, I'm gonna handle every situation the same way I would handle it like outside the villa, just like showing myself, showing who I am. And I what he did was not right. He should have been honest with me, and he wasn't. So I went and confronted him, and I guess that was it for me.
I'm
Nope.
happy that you I'm happy that you did that. Um you go ahead,
No,
sorry,
yeah,
train of
it
thought.
was. I was gonna say the way that you confronted him was in such a way that I think so many people on Love Island have a problem doing because they're
Mhm.
scared to hurt someone's feelings, or they can't articulate what they mean to say and it comes out
Mhm.
wrong. Or but the way you were such like a bad bitch and you were just like, no, this is done for me. This happens to me,
Yeah.
I'm done. And I was like, I respect the hell out of you because a lot of people would not say the truth because they would feel like they're going home.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like a lot of people get scared, like, oh, if I
That's
tell this person off, this closes the door
Mhm.
and whatnot. So I need to like let it go and keep this open. And you were like, no, you're done.
I feel like a lot of people very much in there like are trying to play safe, which is kind of like
Hmm.
the vibe that I got. And with me, I feel like, I'm very much real. I feel like
Yeah,
I have no filter. Like I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say I'm
definitely.
gonna say what it is, and I'm just gonna speak up my mind. And going in there, I truly wanted to make a connection, and I just felt like the guys in there were not really interested in that. If I'm being honest,
Hmm.
like or at least they didn't show that much interest at first, and I didn't really like that. I felt like I was looking for something, and with that moment too, I just felt like like with what there is right now, I don't think I'm gonna find what I'm looking for. It's kind of like they show me who they were, and I'm just like, damn, like and a part of me wish I could have stayed and see who else would have came in, and maybe then I would have found a connection. But
Totally.
given the circumstances, I had to do what I would have done. So I just said, like, I'm not gonna deal with this. I'm not gonna like, I'm not gonna try to convince this man, oh no, pick me. Like, no, like I know what I bring to the table. I know the kind of woman that I am. If he can't see that, then that's his loss. So that's kind of like
Right.
how it. And I feel like that it was kind of like an encouraging moment too. Like a lot of girls are like scared of speaking up, or like saying how they feel. And like, you should never be afraid of that. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to disrespect too. If somebody's not treating you the way you want to be treated, if somebody's not doing the things that you're expecting them to do, especially when you're giving yourself to them, you should speak up, you know? So I feel like that was very much a moment that maybe like some girls needed to see and then be like, you know, I need to be more like Val. Like I need to speak up my mind and tell him how it is, especially when it comes to men.
Yes.
Totally. I feel like I even needed a refresh of that. I love it.
I wish that we were like that on our season. I mean,
I know.
We had those kinds of interactions, and we were saying emotional intelligence is such a thing that you need to have to go on this show, but most people that go on the show have it, and they're learning on the fly.
Mhm.
Val, have you watched it back yet?
I watched like the episodes that I was in until I think it was maybe the fifth episode. The only one I haven't watched is like the one of When I Leave, and then the new one that just came out. I think was yesterday. I haven't watched those. So I was gonna watch them, but my friends were like, "No, don't watch it. Like you don't need to watch it. You're old." I'm like, I'm gonna watch it anyways, but I haven't watched it.
Yeah, you totally should.
I think you should definitely watch it. I think you look great.
I'm trying.
You hold your head high as you walk out. You handled yourself so gracefully. Thinking too forward, so I feel like you kind of already answered this in a way, but let's say, you know, everyone leaves the villa. Is there anyone, if any of the guys were like, let's say all of the guys were like, oh, I want to get to know you now, would you give any of them a chance or no?
Honestly, talking about the emotional intelligence, I would say the only one that I actually felt that with was Timmy. And he even told me, you know, I feel a connection towards you and everything. But he was very established with Sita, which kind of like leads, like one part of me makes me wonder, like, is he playing safe with her?
You gotta catch up.
You know, like the first day, you're getting to know everybody. And he was very much like the only one that was kind of like, even when I think on like the second day we had like a truth or dare, and like there was a dare where I had to kiss like somebody that I want to get to know more, and it was, you know, it was Timmy. That's like the only one that I actually felt that like mental like connection with, and I was like, okay, fuck it, like I'm gonna go for it, and I kissed him, and he didn't even like open his mouth. He was like this. So it's like, man, like, how do you expect me to like make out with you if you're not opening your mouth? You know what I mean? But that's like, I get it, like as a respect thing, but like you've known these girls for how long? Like there is no way you're gonna be disrespectful, especially in Love Island.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Plus, it's a game.
It's kind of, yeah, it kind of like makes me wonder, and it definitely makes Sita wonder as well, because she was like, I don't know, I just like, she was like, I find it weird how he's not like interested in like getting to know anybody, you know? So
that's interesting.
Yeah, wow.
Very interesting. Yeah. Some tea in there for sure.
We're going into fan questions now, Val.
Okay.
So are you ready?
I'm ready. Bring it on.
Okay. Who is the leader in the villa?
Who is the leader?
A leader, yeah. Who's kind of like the
head honcho.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really didn't feel that from anyone. If I'm being
it was probably you.
I feel like everybody just seems scared. You know what I mean? Just like kind of like, and I get it in the sense of like, yeah, you want to stay and everything, but it just kind of made me feel like that nobody was really looking for what I was looking for. So it really made me feel like an outsider. You know what I mean? I felt like I was a fish out of the water. Like I very much feel like I was like the only one that actually was looking for something deeper than what everybody else wanted.
Right. Who was your best friend in the villa?
Maddie and Sydney, for sure. There was a situation that actually I had with a girl that she actually made me cry, and you know, they didn't show that, but I'm not gonna say her name because I don't want to put her out there. But there was a girl that was very much like, she was kind of mean to me in a sense, and I'm like such a crybaby. I'm like, I get overwhelmed and I just start crying. And Sydney was the only one that spoke for me, and just like very much said like, she was like, you cannot speak to someone in such a passive aggressive way and not expect them to like take it a certain way. And she kind of like, the way that she defended me, I thought that was really nice, because like everybody was kind of like quiet, just watching and just letting like the girl like talk to me like that while I was crying. So for her to do that, it showed me her side of like she understood where I was coming from, and she wasn't scared like speak up. And I feel like that's the way I am. So I very much like connected with her after that situation. Because I was like, when everybody's just trying to like be like, oh no, it's just miscommunication. She was the only one to like speak her truth. You know, she saw it for what it was and confronted her about it. So that definitely made me like feel like okay, like I can trust her. And then just Maddie, I think since we were both like in the same situation, we kind of like connected through that. And she was very mature as well. You know, I feel like for my age too, you know, I do tend to like just get along with older people. So like Maddie, I'm pretty sure I think she was 26. So I connected with her in that like mental aspect. Like we both seem to have like similar views on like what we wanted. So she was definitely one of my best friends there too. Yeah.
We kind of see Maddie as a very quiet uh, person we've been watching this season, and one of the fans even submitted in, "Is there like a lot more to Maddie's personality than we've been seeing? What is she as
I
quiet as
think
she can be and reserved, or?"
I think she's very reserved. I would say it definitely like from what like the conversations that I had with her, she said that it definitely takes her time to like open up to guys and like, you know, feel that way. But I think Maddie is just she's maybe not as like outspoken as I am. You know, I'm very much like whatever comes to my mind, I just speak it. She's more of like on the quiet side. Like she's a cool girl. I feel like they definitely haven't like shown much of her personality on the show, but she's definitely not as like outgoing in that sense. You know, I feel like she's very much like she thinks before she speaks in a sense. I'm very much of like I'm like blah, like whatever comes, like I'll just say it.
That's me too.
Yeah, I feel like I have a little bit like I think about things.
Yeah,
Sometimes
you're
for a
the
little
Maddie,
too
I'm the
long.
Val.
There you go.
Someone wrote in, "Would you date Corey from last season?"
Yes. I would. It's so funny because everybody was like, they should put Corey and Val together. And he was so sweet. He was literally so sweet. And I felt like he was just played too. I feel like we were both played, you know, and it's like, okay, well, until the end. He got lucky in the end. But throughout the season, I feel like he was very much like interested in someone and then it didn't work out the way he wanted it to. So
Mhm.
I feel like if Corey and I would have been on the same season, there definitely would have been some.
Honestly, I could see that.
I could once you said it, I was kind of caught off guard. I was like, wait, what? And that now I'm thinking about it.
You guys are both
Kinda
in
does
Florida
make
too,
sense.
correct?
I don't think he's in Florida.
No, I can't remember. I don't think he was from Florida. I can't remember where he was from.
Virginia or something. I wanted to go back to not to like rehash this because it's probably traumatizing, but the confrontation you had with another Islander. Do you think that affected the way you acted in the villa for the rest of the time?
Yeah, I think that very much put me in like a depressive mode. Like I just kind of felt, you know, after that, it's like it's very overwhelming. And especially with me having such experiences with girls where like, you know, they like I don't want to sound, you know, like cocky or whatever, but like the way I take it, it's like, you know, I can be seen as a threat, especially being in like Love Island. It's kind of like everybody's a threat. You know what I mean? And I feel like for her, the situation that she was in, it kind of led her to act that way. And I feel like it definitely like it just made me feel uncomfortable. You know, I feel like I came in and I was like very happy. And then after that situation, I just kind of felt like I just didn't feel welcome anymore. And I could sense it from the girls. I felt like they were all kind of like taking her side. And then I was just kind of like left to the side. And I could feel that. And then they spoke about it too. They were like, well, like, why are you so quiet? Why are you so like you don't show us like yourself? But it was just because I didn't feel comfortable. You know what I mean? Like after that situation, it definitely made me feel very sad. And it honestly, at that moment, I kind of wanted to go home. But I was telling myself, like, you know, you're here for a reason. Like, you're not gonna let her get to you. But it definitely, yeah, it definitely wasn't a good experience.
Yeah, that would definitely throw me off, and it's completely justifiable. I had actually predicted on one of our previous podcasts that something like that could have happened because I feel like we kind of noticed a distance or like a separation between you and some of the girls in the villa, but we did see you in Sydney like very buddy at times, which was cute too.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like I just like after that situation, like the people that let her speak to me that way, I just saw them as like, you know, I would never allow like if I'm seeing a situation, I would speak up too. And I would tell her like, hey, like you should not be talking to her that way. You know what I mean? And I feel like since like the other girls didn't do that and allowed that, that kind of just made me feel like, okay, like they don't really have my back. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you see somebody doing something wrong, I'm the type to speak up. And Sydney was the only one to do that. And I feel like that kind of like led me to feel more comfortable towards her. But I definitely felt like a division with like all of the girls, like after that situation. I feel like maybe since like she had been there a little longer than me, they were like more connected to her than me. And I was kind of just like left like to the side.
It's unfortunate that that happens, but I feel like we do see it every season.
Yeah.
It's always the OGs, they have each other's back, and that's great. But it's also, they need to have everyone else's back as well.
Yeah, it's very hard to break into that.
Yes, and we feel for you, or you had to go through that, because that is like such an awful feeling in the moment. But
especially when you like, no, especially when you like rely on like the girls too. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like you want to have like the girls back as well. And to be honest, like I feel like if it were up to like the Islanders, and like a sense of like if I were like in a situation where the Islanders had to pick who would stay, I don't think they would have chosen me. To be honest, like I just don't think anybody really like felt that way towards me. I feel like I was definitely kind of like put to the side. But I was just trying like find my way and just like enjoy the experience. But that definitely changed my mood for sure.
Honestly, watching you, I think you did such a good job of putting yourself out there that it makes me hypothetically curious to see how you would have done if you were on like the UK's version of Love Island, because I feel like everyone on, that season is very much more like straightforward.
I haven't seen the UK version, but I feel like in like the USA version, I don't think everybody was like I think, I mean, it's so soon too, it's the first week. So it's hard to say, but I definitely feel like I was the only one that was like really putting myself out there. Like, I feel like everybody was like, in a sense, like thinking more like logically of like, okay, what's my best opportunity to stay rather than like I'm putting myself out there. And I mean, I didn't like that because like it didn't allow me to find the connections that I wanted to make when like your first thought is like, you just want to stay in the villa. You know what I mean? I feel like with me, I was just like, I didn't care what happened. I was just gonna like be myself and make whatever decision felt right. And I wish more of them would have been like me, honestly, like in that situation.
I think some of them start to kind of step it up, to be honest. And once you catch up on the episodes, I think you'll see some of the people start to really break out of their shell a lot more. I think we saw that for the first time last night. And I I think it was one of the best Love Island episodes I've seen across all the seasons. Last night's episode, Alex and I were like, okay, wow. So I'm excited for you. I'm a little shook still. I'm excited for you to watch and catch up.
Yes. What was your favorite moment in the villa?
When I won the kissing challenge.
Oh yes,
the kissing booth. I was like, I've always actually like by guys, I've always been complimented on like my kissing, and I never knew if it was like they're just saying that to just say it or like they actually mean it. So I was like going into that, I was like, okay, like this is my time to like really see what's up. And after that, it was kind of like, like you just given like you have the receipts right there. Like, it's like now I know. And it's so funny because they don't show all their reactions, but it was so funny because like Andy was like, he like, after I did it, he was like, yeah, that's my 10 right there. And then Felipe was like, oh, he was like, that's my 10 too. That was a nice kiss. And then it was like really all just like going in. And I was just like, yeah. I'm like, I love to hear it. Like, keep on saying it. Come on. So it was
give me more. Give me more.
Exactly. No, it was definitely like a very like empowering moment, I would say, in a sense. I'm like, oh, like, I love it. I'm like, there it is. Now I know.
Yeah.
You honestly must actually be good. And Alex and I have been laughing about this because we're like, never in our lives have we been complimented on that. And we were like, do people just not say that? And I was like, well, they must say it to you. So
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, like, I mean, I guess they meant it, I'm like, it makes me wonder. I'm like, I kind of want to kiss myself just to see what it feels like.
Who was the guy that was kissing like a turtle? Like you guys were like,
oh my God. I felt so bad after that because like they didn't show our reactions, but we went in on him. We were like all like laughing, like we're not blind, but like what do we call the freaking eye thingy, the mask? With the everything on, like we were just like going in, like we were like calling him dagger tongue. We stopped. We were like, what was that? Like we were just like, I felt so bad because it was Andy, and I feel like you
Oh
can
my
tell
god.
after that he was just like everybody gave him like a 6 or something. But I feel like he was maybe just like nervous, and that's why he kind of like went a little too aggressive. But like when you make out with someone and their tongue is just like straight, like it's like not like
No, I can't.
It's a turtle tongue.
it was just like going in like that. Like it was just like
Yeah.
I remember going like in my head, I was just like, oh my God. I was like, what is going on right now?
Like,
So
who is this?
we didn't know who it was. We were all like going in on him. And then like after we realized, we were like, damn, like we definitely should have been like nicer to him.
You know what? It happens.
It's all part of the fun.
We
It's
didn't talk
just a
about
game.
Tyler. I totally forgot. I'm sorry. You went on a date with Tyler.
Mhm.
What was that like?
It was good, but I definitely feel like I carried that date. Like I was being the one that was like asking more questions. He's very mellow. You know what I mean? He's
That's how we've
very
described.
quiet, very and like when he walks, he doesn't even look at anyone. He just walks like straight like this. Like so it was kind of like you really can't read him. So even me, I was like surprised that he like asked me. I was like, I was happy, of course, because I was like, okay, like let's go. But it's hard to say like what he really wants. You know what I mean? And with him, I just felt like if anything, he just made me be more like a calm version of me because I feel like I couldn't really be like, you know what I mean? Because it just like kind of like he brings you like down a little bit. But he's very smart. I would say that like on a mental aspect, he was definitely like one of the smartest ones, which was like nice to have. But he was just kind of like too quiet for me, honestly.
Yeah, it's so funny because I wanted to ask you about this. I don't know if you've seen his intro video, but they show him to be this like alpha man, and he says, if I go into a bar and a girl has a boyfriend, she won't have a boyfriend by the end of the night. Is he like that? I'm
I
assuming
called
no.
BS on that.
Honestly, not really. At least the way that I sense him, he was just very like just kind of like, oh, I'm here. Like I was like, are you happy to be here? Like I was really like, are you okay? Like, but I guess that's just like his personality. He's just really very like calm. But he's definitely very hard to read. Like you have no,
I agree.
I had no clue what was going through that man's head. I swear to God. Like
Did
I was
you
just like,
at all-
I was like, does he even want to be here? Like, but
did you
I
at
don't
all
know.
think he was gonna pick you?
I didn't think he was gonna pick me. Honestly,
No.
I kind of knew because like even though I could speak to him and everything, I just didn't really like myself around him. Like I felt like I had to be a more like calm version of myself because I feel like like I just couldn't really be outspoken and stuff like that around him. So I knew like I felt like if I'm feeling that, he must like feel something too. You know what I mean? So I knew from that moment I was like he's not gonna pick me. Like right before the like recoupling, I already knew I was going home.
I had a
Like,
feeling because I saw you were holding your phone in your hand and no one else was.
yeah, I was ready. I was like, okay, like I came, I did what I did. Nobody here was for me, and I'm just gonna go home and take the experience with me. And honestly, I was fine with that.
Yeah.
I think you had a great experience and you came across so well on the show. You had the right attitude going in and you handled yourself so well, especially with all the unknowns that we didn't know about, all behind the scenes stuff. Um, and I just think that you were such a great addition. I wish that you had stayed longer because I think that you could have really shined, but everything happens for a reason. So
Totally. I feel like one of the last questions we always enjoy asking people is what's next for you? Like, what are you going to be up to?
I don't know, honestly. It's kind of soon to say, but right now I think I'm just taking the time to like just decompress and just kind of like ease back into like my routine. I hit the gym yesterday, which was great because I had missed a gym. I was like, oh my God, this was so good. But I don't know, honestly. I think I'm still exploring that. I definitely want to be more, I want to use my like social media as a platform to, I guess, maybe just like speak up and just like, maybe even like kind of like help other girls through situations and have like those conversations that we have in like girl talk type of vibe. And I think I very much want to speak on like mental health and like just kind of like I don't know, just like express more of like myself, of like who I am and like my thoughts and my ideas, and kind of just like show that to the world and see if it actually like helps someone. You know, I was even thinking of like starting a podcast,
You
but you know,
should. Totally
that's
should.
all like in the process. But I don't know. I'm like, it's definitely going through my head. Like, I kind of want to start something where I'm just like speaking out my mind and just like, you know, inviting people and like share their ideas with me. But still working on it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
love
think
it.
It'd be so well received. You
Mhm.
are so mature and you are so articulate and able to give really good advice, I feel. Um, that's what I got from the show.
I know. I think so too. I'm like, I don't find myself following the advice that I give, but I definitely
Never.
feel like I'm very good at like, you know, like just kind of like reading people or like maybe like seeing a situation for what it is. And like, I'm not scared to like, you know, like say how it is. I feel like, you know, like people are so scared of like hurting other people's feelings that they don't realize that sometimes like when you're like too nice about something, you know, you're probably going to end up hurting that person in the end. Like it's better for you to just be honest. It's like, I don't know
Mhm.
why it's hard for people nowadays to just like be honest, to speak of the truth. That's it.
It's so true. So your final farewell was the cutest thing ever.
Uh,
A little video.
I couldn't stop smiling. Hey guys, it's Val. I was like trying to talk, but I was just so like, I'm like over here. I'm like, I know I look ridiculous talking right now, but
No, it was cute.
We love you so much and we're so grateful that we got to talk to you. Tell everyone where they can find you. What's your Instagram? If you have a YouTube, this is your time. Drop it.
okay. Well, my Instagram is Valerie Bragg. I think my TikTok is the same, Valerie Bragg. I want to say, but I don't have a YouTube channel, but I might start one just because of like the podcast thing too. I think I'm definitely gonna like get on that, but I'm sure I'll be posting it on my social media when I do. So right now, the thing I use the most is just TikTok and Instagram. So Valerie Bragg, go ahead, follow me.
Yes. Go follow
Awesome.
Valerie.
Go follow for some advice.
Yes.
Yes.
We will link her socials below. Make sure if you're watching to give this video a like and share it. And we look forward to having more guests on. And thank you again, Val, for coming. We've really enjoyed getting to know you.
You guys for having me.